Welcome back for another Sports by Cap trade alert. And in this video, we're going to break down the Boston Celtics moves, the big moves that they made last week for True Holiday and also for Kristaps Porzingis to get under the second apron. So you can see here, based on the Fanspell cap machine, that they are below the second apron right here. You can see they are $7 million below the second apron. So if I view the payroll, we're at $198 million, $198.7 million. They've moved out True Holiday and Kristaps Porzingis, and these were trades that were right after the Durant trade on the 23rd of June and the 24th of June. So let's take a look at the frameworks of those and see exactly what happened. So Anfernee Simons, okay, who's 26, they traded him for True Holiday, and he's a shooting guard, okay? So you see the age difference. True Holiday is 35, he's 26, and he's got 1 year left at $27 million, okay? Now, if we look at the payroll and the implications of that one trade, after this year, he comes off the Bucks, and then the Celtics are way below the cap, way below. George Niang is the other trade that happened with the Atlanta Hawks. So Boston received him and a second-round pick. The Atlanta Hawks received Kristaps Porzingis and a second-round pick. The Nets received Terrence Mann and a 2025 first-round pick. Okay, so that was a three-team deal. Okay, that was on June 24th. So you can see that for the Boston Celtics side of things, they have a lot more cap flexibility going forward. And again, if I look at beyond next year, the year after that, they are way below the luxury tax, and they have a lot of flexibility to make moves for the next 3+ years, really 4 years. And that's when their core is locked in. You know, they have them locked in for next year, which is kind of a wash with Jason Tatum being injured. I'm not saying that the Celtics won't be competitive. I think they will be. I'm a Miami Heat fan. I don't want them to be competitive, but I don't want people to be injured. You know, that's one thing that I'm not cheering for, is for anybody to be injured. Okay. But that being said, Jason Tatum is out for the entire season next year, pretty much. So it's Jaylen Brown and Derek White's show with these other players that they have, and they'll be competitive. I think that they're always competitive and they're always playing hard and all that. I think they'll be a decent team, but the East is wide open, literally. Now, if you look at the Portland Trailblazers side of this deal for the first trade, which was True Holiday for Anfernee Simons, which is on the 23rd, you can see, and actually, one thing to add with the Portland Trailblazers, they just bought out DeAndre Ayton, so he's not even on the team anymore. So if I just waive him, okay, we'll just kind of waive him and get him off the team. You can see that they just bought him out, and they have almost cap space now, because I think that the cap space is I'm trying to think what the salary cap is. I think it's 100 and something, 150 something. Anyway, this is a rebuilding team. I don't know if they're ever going to be competitive, because they've been rebuilding since they traded Damian Lillard, and I really don't know what they're doing. I mean, I'm just being honest with you. I don't understand what their strategy is. They're 36 and 46 last year. I think they're just stuck in the middle, and you know, they got all these like crazy contracts. Let me see if they have any flexibility next year. Okay, so they have massive flexibility next year, next off season, and the season after that they'll have even more. So I think their books will be completely clean. And if I were them, which they can do whatever they want, but if it was me, I would let all these people go and just start from scratch. and start building through the draft and get young assets that are cheap, so that you can build a team around that. You need kind of an anchor to lead the ship, so to speak. Okay, so that's for the Trailblazers. Now for the Atlanta Hawks, it's way more interesting for them because they have Trae Young. They've made some other trades, which let me see if I have my notes for that, so I can show you kind of what they're doing too. So they made another trade. Let's see if I can find it. So Atlanta made a trade for picks. All right, with New Orleans, but that's not the trade I'm referring to. They made another deal, but I don't see it on my notes here. So it'll probably be in another video where I talk about it. Because I'm just covering the ones that I have notes for at the moment. And then, and Boston made a trade for picks with Orlando. So they just did like a quick trade there. So yeah, there's no more. There was another trade that Atlanta made, but for some reason I don't have it on my notes here, which is fine. So, and this is just covering the trades that I have covered are from the 22nd to the 29th. So any trade that was made between that time period, that's what I'm going to be covering in these videos. And then as we get more trades and more things coming out, then of course I'll cover that. And also, free agency started yesterday. I'll start covering that as well once the smoke clears, so to speak. And then I'll break down each move and see where it's going to send people and, how is it going to tip the scales. Because one interesting thing on a sidebar is the Milwaukee Bucks. They have not really done a good job of keeping pieces in place for Giannis. So I'm monitoring that. I'm an honorary Bucks fan. I'm from Wisconsin originally, so they've been so bad most of my life that I literally turned on them in 2000. So I've had enough. And to see them win was fantastic in 2021. So I'm very happy that they're winning, but I'm a Heat lifer, so to speak, because I've been cheering for them for almost 30 years. So almost since the time Pat Riley moved over to Miami. It took me a few years to come over, but yeah, the Bucks, I don't know what they're doing, and I hope that they figure it out because I think Giannis may be on the move if they don't make significant moves. If he wants to win, I mean. If he doesn't care about winning, well, then I understand. But back to the Celtics and the Bucks chatter has to do with the East being wide open. So because of a couple things. One, the Celtics lost Jason Tatum. They're completely out of the finals picture for next year. Also, the Pacers, who just were in the finals a week ago, Sunday, so 8-9 days, just lost Tyrese Halliburton to an Achilles tear. So you got two of the top East teams that are completely out of it right now. So the Bucks, even though they haven't made a lot of moves, they have the potential to be very competitive because of how weak the East is right now. My Miami Heat, who I'm a rabid fan for, they haven't made any moves. They've just been signing people, and that's fine. Pat didn't really find anybody that was viable for what they're doing, and I think what they're doing actually is a way to be competitive. So let me show you what the Heat are doing. I'm just going to give you the comparables because the reason why I'm talking about the Heat and the Bucks is those are really the two top teams that are going to be battling for the top spot. And you'll say, well, what about the Knicks? Time out. The Knicks went 7 games with the Pacers. The Knicks fired their coach. They're a mess. I don't think that the Knicks will, and I'm not a Knicks hater at all. I know that the Heat and the Knicks don't get along and all that stuff, but The Knicks have never been a threat to the Heat ever. They just haven't. Pat Riley's been to, I think he said in his press conference he went to 6 finals or 7 finals. He's been to 7 finals in the time that he's been there. Since he's been in Miami, compared to the Knicks, they've been to the finals once. Okay, I'm not worried about the Knicks. Okay, and because the owner or the president of basketball operations can't get out of their own way, they fire Tom Thibodeau, who took them to the conference finals, which they hadn't done in 25 years. Okay, when you have no success for that long, and then you fire the coach, you're the problem, not the coach. Okay, and I'm not really a Thibodeau defender in any way, shape, or form, but you don't fire the guy that got you to the conference finals. Okay, you need continuity. You need to have the same voice, the same coach. Spo's been the coach for the Heat for almost 20 years. As of 2028, it'll be 20 years. Okay, so that continuity and that collectiveness of the same voice coaching and the same deal and all that really makes a difference. And the other thing you have to remember about the Miami Heat specifically is when LeBron James was there over 15 years ago, he wanted Eric Spoelstra fired, and Pat Riley said, absolutely not. We're not doing that. So if Pat Riley was in New York, he would have told James Dolan, do not fire Tom Thibodeau. You ride with your coach. You win with him, you lose with him. Okay? But if you just throw in the towel when you guys lose in Game 7, and I don't even know that they lost in Game 7. Actually, let me look that up. I'm not sure. I may be speaking out of turn here. Okay, so let me see what I don't really remember what happened. That's what I'm trying to. Okay, they lost 4-2, so they didn't win. It didn't go 7 games. It went 6 games. But let me just tell you, Michael Jordan won every finals 4-2. I know because I grew up 4 hours away from Chicago, and the Bulls were always on, and they were basically my adopted team for basketball because the Bucks were so horrible. Okay, and I was 6 when MJ started winning titles, or 5. So I would have been really receptive to cheering for the Bulls. So my point is that when Michael played, they got Phil Jackson, and he coached him for 10 years, and they won multiple championships. Okay. Eric Spoelstra has been with the Heat. He went to 4 finals with LeBron, Wade, and Bosh. He went to 2 finals with Jimmy Butler. Okay. Pat Riley has set him up for success, is my point. And I would never count Pat Riley out. Okay. I would never count the Heat out because of the way that they train, the way that they play. Their mindset is what I'm talking about. Okay. They're always in the hunt. They're always in the game. Okay. Now, they haven't made any moves. They basically have the same deal here. Duncan Robinson has opted out. So he is, I'm just going to wave him for this example just so you can see what that does. Okay. And we literally, for them, they're way below the tax. Okay. So they have tremendous flexibility to make a move. Okay. In free agency. And there's still moves to be made. So they'll definitely make some moves. But the Heat are a contender always. They have Bam and Tyler, and they've been to 2 finals each together. Andrew Wiggins has won a championship with the Golden State Warriors. So he's a champion as well. These 2 guys haven't won yet, but they're ultra competitive, and they play the Miami Heat way or the Pat Riley way. And they're both Kentucky Wildcats, just like Riles is. So there's a lot of connectivity there. Okay. Wiggins, I think, went to Kansas. I'm not sure where Terry Rozier went. But they got a good team. And then you got, what's his name? Davion Mitchell. They re-signed him for 2 years. um, Nikola Jovic, Kyle Ware, Jaime Jaquez Jr. I mean, they have a lot of pieces that are young, but they're going to be competitive. Okay. They need some continuity. They need some time together to build chemistry. It doesn't happen the first week. Okay. You need time to build that continuity. So for the Celtics, I'm not going to say that they're done making trades, but they're probably closer to being done than to continuing on. For the Hawks, they have brilliantly masterminded the trade market, getting Kristaps Porzingis. You literally have him and Trae Young for a year, and then they're probably going to let those guys go because I know that Clint Capella is a Rocket. I know that Karis LeVert was traded somewhere else. I don't remember where that was, so I got to find that out. These guys here, they're probably going to re-sign them or renounce them, depending on what they do. And we'll do a Hawks video. This is not really for the Hawks. It's more for the Celtics because they made two big trades, True Holiday and Kristaps Porzingis for True Holiday again going to Portland, and for Kristaps Porzingis going to the Atlanta Hawks. So I think that was a productive video, and I look forward to talking to you in the next one, where we break down more trades with the trade alert. So thanks for watching. Take care. I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for checking out Sports by Cap here on YouTube. Be sure to subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you can update anytime we upload new content, and check out the latest trades from the show right here all week long during the free agency frenzy period and beyond.